Today I'm going to show you how to use LinkedIn effectively as a consultant. So when it comes to marketing for consultants, I'm often asked about LinkedIn. In fact, most people believe that LinkedIn is the foundational social media for a consulting business. And in many cases that is the case, and in others it's not. It comes very much down to where your audience is and where they're willing to have a conversation with you on a regular basis. Now that could be LinkedIn, but today I want to show you how to use LinkedIn strategically so that you can make sure that you are getting the most out of the application. Now this is a two-part series, so we're going to follow on from this session and do a technical LinkedIn piece, which is all about the things that you need to do technically to get the most out of the software. But today we're going to look at it strategically about what position you should be taking when it comes to using the platform. And if you haven't subscribed, do that right now so that part 2 gets sent directly to you. Now, I want to look at 3 different things when we're looking at LinkedIn strategy, but the overriding piece is we're usually using LinkedIn to engage in a broader network and at the end of the day, engage more sales. So the first piece, I'm not even going to talk about it today. I've talked about it in other videos. We want to make sure that we're using social media for the process of connecting with people and having conversations, because your point of sale, your POS, when it comes to your consulting practice, is a conversation. So your ability to connect and have conversations with people is the reason that you're using LinkedIn. But today I want to talk about how to use LinkedIn to ensure you're having more of those connections and more of those conversations. So the first thing you want to do strategically when it comes to LinkedIn is you want to use it as a positioning tool, which means you're not using it as a resume. The old way that people used to use LinkedIn is to list all the experiences and skills that they've got and to list all the job titles that they've ever had, right down to being a paperboy at the age of 12. That was me. Now, I'm suggesting that not only is it not worth putting all that experience in, but it's not going to help you in the current positioning that you want in your practice. So wherever you want to be positioned, whether that be expertise about the certain type of clientele you're working with or expertise you want to have to give you credibility for your current position, those are the things that you want to put in the job titles or your past experience. If you've got things that are not relevant to the current position you're trying to get, you should remove them or at least hide them in your profile. And you can do that by going to the edit part of your profile, which is where you make all those edits. Number 2 is to have a voice. Now, a lot of people will use LinkedIn as a sit and watch platform. They'll use it to search up other people. They'll create lists of people that they want to connect with and then engage with and speak to them behind the scenes. There's nothing wrong with speaking to people behind the scenes. But if you want to create a leadership position with your business, if you want to use it to become a market leader, then really you want to use LinkedIn in a way that enables you to have a voice. It enables you to share and have a point of view. Now, there's 2 parts to that. One is to be able to share. Great, that means creating content, whether that be articles, putting up images, putting up quotes, putting up videos, all these different types of content. But really what's underlying that in the strategic part is to have a voice, stand for something. So what are you standing for? And part of that is really to take the time to ask yourself, what is this all about? What am I trying to do with this business? Because you could be in any business. Just because you've got some skills in strategy or your technical expertise doesn't mean that you have to stay in this world. Ideally, you want to stay in this world because there's something that you really enjoy about it, or there's something that you're trying to change about it. And so this is part of the mission statements that we all create, but it's about having a mission statement, or really a reason to do the work that you're doing that actually stands above just doing the work. So one of the things I like to look at, it's a manifesto model that I use within my programs in the Forge and in the Guild, is what do I see out there? So what do you see in your current landscape? What's wrong with that picture? What is it that needs to change about the current situation? How should the world change, or what are the steps it needs to go through to change? And finally, how will it look when it has changed? If you put those 4 statements together, you can actually create really nice, effective manifesto that's not for the world, although you could share it with the world. It's really for you to understand what voice do I want to bring to the conversation. So in the bringing of that voice, we can do things like creating articles, we can create newsletters, we can connect with people and share our views, we can get involved in conversations by looking at specific hashtags or specific topics that people are involved in, and we can add our own thoughts to those conversations as well. It's one of the biggest opportunities for us is not just to create our own content, but also to go out to other people's content and engage them in conversation there. But to do that, we really need to understand, what are we for? What are we all about? What is our point of view? And that's going to enable you to not be beige, boring, and hiding back in the crowd of other consultants who are out there just collating content. And that's something that a lot of people do. They'll curate and collate content and bring all these sources from other places and share it as if it's their own, but everyone can see it's not their own case study. Everyone can see it's not their own work and IP. And so you, as an expert, get to use the platform of LinkedIn and all these other publishing sources to continue to increase and practice your expertise and then your thought leadership, so that you can really stand out as a market leader and start leading the industry in the direction that you want to see it in. Now, just because you've got a voice doesn't mean that anyone wants to hear you. So number 3, the crucial part about number 3 is having an audience. Who are you for? Who do you stand for? Who are you there to help, support, and guide? Who is your audience? So having a voice is lovely if you're just going to scream out into the abyss, but it's so much better to whisper in the ears of those individuals who really need what you've got. And so to identify those people, we need to get specific about the specific target audiences we want to speak to. Now, there are all sorts of verticals, and there are different types of roles that people have across those verticals. And when I say verticals and I say roles, it's the equivalent of, we've got marketing managers and we've got HR managers, right? They're the roles. We've got verticals like the built industry or construction. We've got warehousing. We've got logistics. These are all different sectors that people can be in. But really what I'm talking about is identity. Can you call out someone's name or the thing that they actually think of as themselves, and they hear what you're saying, they hear who you're speaking to? Now, I just want to quickly go to the board and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this isn't necessarily just about niching, but it is about getting specific about a specific target audience. Now, right here in the middle, that's going to be someone's name. So if you wanted to just work with Russells, for instance, I would be calling out in my articles or in my publications, Russell. Right, that's who I'm talking to. It could be Mary, John, Sally, Frank, whatever your name is. That's going to be the thing that you hear the most. So if someone says your name, you're going to notice it. Now, outside of that, there is going to be the role that you have or how you see yourself professionally. So with me, it could be consultant or it could be strategist. With other people, it's going to be accountant or doctor or lawyer. Okay, so they've got these different area. If we still talk to that, we're still within an identity. They see themselves as the strategist. They see themselves as the consultant or the accountant. We go one step outside of that too. They could be the business owner. So the business owner of an accounting practice might be an example. Let's say that the person's name's Sally. Sally is going to be the identity they recognize the most. From there, it's going to be Sally the accountant. And one step out there is Sally the business owner of an accounting practice, right? And then further out of there, we've got small, medium enterprise. And outside of that, we might have entrepreneur or something like that. But what's interesting about this is the further out you go from the center, the more the volume gets turned down on the message. So getting really clear about specifically who you want to be speaking to and the identity they have will enable not only for you to connect with these people, but it'll enable them to hear you in what is a very busy marketplace. So let's sum this up. So strategically, we want to have an umbrella over the top of all our strategy of connection and conversation. That's the reason for us to use a social platform like LinkedIn, to enable us to connect with people and have a conversation with people. But as part of that, we can enable them to experience us. So the first step under there is positioning. Again, we're not looking at a resume, we're positioning ourselves for our area of expertise. Now that could be what we're about. So that's the what of our world on LinkedIn. Now in the center there, number 2, we're talking about our voice. What do we want people to hear from us? What are the messages? How do we want them to perceive us? What words and what things do we want to stand for? What platform do we want to take in this space? Now, it's all very nice to have that voice, but we want to, number 3, make sure that it connects with a specific audience, because otherwise we're just screaming out into the abyss. No one's going to hear us, or if they do hear us, it's just going to be part of the noise in the very noisy marketplace that is LinkedIn. So we really need to speak to a specific identity in particular. For me, it's consultants. So I'm always talking to people who have a consulting based business model, no matter what their area of expertise. So if they want to be a consultant who runs their own practice or runs their own business, then they can come and look at my content, and it's going to enable them to basically build a better professional lifestyle. But what about you? Who do you want to connect with? What do you want to say? And how do you want to be positioned in your area of expertise? This is part 1 of a 2-part LinkedIn series. So next time we're going to talk about the technical side of your LinkedIn profile. How to set it up so you're getting the most out of the technology, how you can set it up in a way that people will more likely connect with you, they'll more likely reach out to you, and enable you to even potentially get leads while you sleep, which is a fantastic thing and a fantastic opportunity right there on LinkedIn. If you're not already getting leads from LinkedIn, if you're using it just as a positioning vehicle, I think you want to check out that episode, because we'll show you some tricks and tips to enable you to not just engage with people on the platform, but actually get in contact with them directly in their emails. So make sure you subscribe to be notified when next week's episode becomes live. And until then, go to russellpearsonprograms.com, where you can get free resources for you in your consulting practice. This is episode number 91 of the Your Consulting Business podcast. My name's Russell Pearson. Until next time, stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.